Bill Walton joins us now on 790 The
Dan,
Ticket.
great to be with you today.
Likewise, Bill. Thank you for coming with the usual, the customary energy that you come with.
I'm fired up and ready to go. The NBA's 65th season is underway. It's going to be the best, the most successful, the most exciting, and the most profitable one in NBA history.
We are planning on the miracle. We are seeking shelter from the storm. We are listening to Electric on the Eel as we approach the days between in the summertime here.
I'm pretty certain I've been to 2 or 3 Dead & Company shows with Bill, but Bill doesn't know he's been to 2 or 3 with me. It's unbelievable.
I know. I do know Stugotz. Yeah, because I'm the luckiest dude in the world, man. I found basketball when I was 8 years old, 3 years after I found my bike. And then, just 1 year later, I found Chick Hearn on the radio, and that changed everything for me. When I was 15, I found the Grateful Dead, Stugotz, UCLA, and John Wooden. Then when I was 17, I found the ultimate mentor, Ernie Vanderway. 28, Marty Glickman taught me how to speak. When I was 37, I found the woman of my dreams, Lori, the greatest everything ever. She's not a thing, but I can't think of a better word than everything. Things change along the way, as it often does with the Grateful Dead show. And man, the way they opened last night up in Burgestown in Pennsylvania, just west of Pittsburgh there. Wow, hell in a bucket into Alabama getaway. They were rocking last night. To be able to follow it all on nugs.net. And Stugotz, I hope to see you out there ASAP. I'm not sure what shows you're going to be able to get to, but look for me. I'm the tall guy with the big smile on his face. Hopefully Kevin will be able to continue to play well. You never know. It's a basketball game. It's the Dead Show. It's the Dan Le Batard Show. You never know what's going to happen. You never know when you're going to go. Nikola Jokic is like, well, one of the Florida Keys, or he's like the big river of water coming right down through Central Florida and ending up there in the Everglades and just making it all happen. But just watch out for all the alligators in there. Dan Le Batard Show. Stugotz. We'll see you on the
He is a spiritual gangster.
When you've been, Dan, where I've been, when you have a life that's not worth living because of the orthopedic spine issue that I've had over the last few years, and then you get better, and your life is never the same again, and everything is different, and what it teaches you is the ultimate lessons in life: perspective, relativity, tolerance, and patience. And as we are faced in a world that's racked by greed and selfishness, we have so many people who are trying to do so many good things.
Bill, we have to get you on again because I want to talk Grateful Dead with you.
Call anytime, Dan. I'm always ready. Let's go. And you tell LeBron to stand tall because that guy is fantastic. Don't let the little people bring him down because of their jealousy, because of their own problems out there. LeBron, that guy's phenomenal.
He's phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
You're phenomenal.
Better than perfect.
You're better than perfect.
Incredible.
You're better than perfect.
Feed the children, World Hunger Relief. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bill Walton. I didn't even get to talk Grateful Dead with him.
We can't have him on enough.
That man is a prophet, a giant freckled prophet.
I will tell you, Stugotz, that over the last couple of years, it seems like this show has been bombarded by loss, people we care about, people that we have relationships with. And what I will say of Bill Walton that is different than I think about anybody in the history of our show, and I can't think of a lot of people walking the globe that I could say the following about. I associated Bill Walton always, from playing days on, with being in a great deal of pain, and his disposition never revealed it.
Right.
I don't know how.
Amazing.
I don't know how he did that, because I think that we can get all caught up in our self-involvement, and there probably isn't a lot beyond pain that anyone listening to this is going to notice if they're in pain. It's a very personal, intensely personal thing that is a burden only you're carrying around, and his body didn't work right almost the entire time that he was a famous person. Being a 7-footer, this is a pretty long lifespan for a 7-footer because of the battering the body takes. But I really do associate this human being with always being in pain and always being somehow positive, someone who gave off a positive energy to anyone he came in contact with despite it.
Always smiling, always in a good mood despite the pain you're talking about.
He couldn't have actually always been in a good mood. Some
No.
of that had to be a mask for others.
In public, he was always in a good mood. He was always smiling. He always wanted to send a positive message. I got to spend a little time with him, like over the last couple of years. I saw him in San Francisco less than a year ago. I watched a few Dead songs with him at one of the final Dead and Company shows, and I went to Shoreline with him and Luke Walton for a show. Like, I've had some good times with Bill Walton. Bill Walton, you would never know, Dan. I knew he was in pain, but you're right, because I just know his history of injury and being in pain. But you would never know it spending any sort of time with him. Like, he was always gracious.
It's hard to believe,
Yes.
honestly, because it's not just like, I'm sure many people in our audience are in some sort of daily pain. But this is a person that I associate every walking step that he took, because he had foot problems, because he had back problems. You could look up how many surgeries he had to have, but he had to have too many of them, because I just simply associate his entire playing career with overcoming pain. And when it's every walking step, Stugotz, I don't know how you keep a positive mood when you're waking up every morning and what greets you upon waking up is, my body doesn't feel good. I don't feel good in the case that I have to carry around all day.
Just to lend to what type of pain he was in, I asked him once, like, hey, Bill, sit down. Because if you go to a Dead show, you will see Bill Walton. He'll be, by the sound stage. He'll be standing up the entire time. He doesn't want to block anyone. He doesn't want to get in anyone's way. He's friends with the band. And I said to him once, like, hey, Bill, sit down. And he said, sitting down, standing up, too much pain.
Yeah, it hurts
too painful. I'd just rather stand.
38 surgeries.
Yeah.
My wife asked me who Bill Walton was because she says I see a bunch of stuff on social media, and I appreciated the opportunity to try to explain who Bill Walton was, because I don't have any memories of him playing basketball. I just remember him being around the game and being a wildly charismatic and popular dude that was in this. Look, people have a ton of strong opinions. Ask Reggie Miller. When it comes to basketball broadcasting, he was always atop everyone's list. They all loved him. He was just beloved by everyone around the sport. And it didn't play well to our montage, because that's notoriously quick hits here and there. But there was one time he joined our show. You asked him one question, and that was like premeditated.
There were two times.
We went into this interview trying to ask no more than one question. Mm-hmm. And at least once we got there.
I just said hello to Bill on Stupidity once, and he went for 35 minutes.
As great as his playing career was, I don't think it's what people will remember him for because of how long ago it was. I believe it's sort of his spiritual, aligned with the cosmos, sort of crazy broadcaster guy. I think he had a career that was more memorable as a personality than as a player.
We should remember the broadcasting part of it, because it was unique and it was different, especially this show, who strives to be a little bit different than the other shows. Bill Walton was different.
Oh,
yeah.
Throw it down, big man, is a signature call.
Yes.
I still say that in my home. Anytime a big guy doesn't want to throw it down, I say it in a Bill Walton voice. Throw it down, big man.
Do you know how hard it is for him to be beloved when play-by-play people didn't actually love how difficult he could make it because he wasn't playing by the rules? He's not stopping talking when he's supposed to, or talking about any of the things he's supposed to talk about. He was just always being Bill Walton, and it was not confined to whatever it is your limits are.
The right play-by-play people did. You know, it seems that Dave Pash, Jason Benetti, just a couple of different examples, and that was in baseball. Boog, where the right person who understood the light that Bill Walton could bring into someone's home through his broadcasting allowed him to function in that space in a way that made that impact so special on all of us.
It was funny to hear Dave Pash on SportsCenter yesterday talking about him, and he was talking about when he first started working with him. As much as you want to let him go, you gotta rein him in. Because he said Mike Tirico called him early in his career. It was like, I know you want to let him go, but you gotta rein him in a little bit because he'll just go everywhere.
Well, I'll go a step further on this, and I know we get carried away with prisoner of the moment or whatever is the last thing is the best thing. But you do understand that no one's allowed to be that anymore, right? Like you're not. You can be
yes.
Charles Barkley on a studio show, but you're not allowed to be on the broadcast and not respect the broadcast. You're not allowed to be on the broadcast and not be partners with everyone around you and the sport and just do your own thing. There's not someone who's allowed to exist that way. I don't even know who you'd go with on second place. Someone who sits next to the play-by-play guy and is allowed to just be themselves, and it doesn't matter whether they're talking about the game or not. They're just being ambassador for entertaining and loves basketball, but doesn't necessarily need to be talking about basketball.
And I don't know how much of it was his own personal life and desire to keep a lighter schedule, but even he, in the later part of his career, was only allowed to be that on like Pac-12 Network Sicko Delight type games, which was always an appeal. Like, oh, this is a game that the most appealing thing about it is Bill Walton's on the call, and Pash is going to kind of let him go.
Didn't he die the day after the conference did? The last the day after the
Roxy Bernstein signed off on Pac-12 Network, and no one was really sad about it.
I was very sad about it. I don't know what you're talking about. He actually thanked Bill Walton in his sign-off, so it was like a sweet moment, but I was very sad. For me, at least, there was never really the appeal of watching Pac-12 basketball, except if I knew Bill Walton was on the call, and I would stay up every single time.
Is the Dick Vitale, Bill Walton stuff, is that something that ends with them? Like, is there going to be some young broadcaster who's allowed to do it that way?
In terms of color commentary, I don't really see it. Like, in terms of play-by-play, Harlan's got an aspect of that to him.
Oh, but play-by-play has too many confinements. You can have personality, but there's a top end to it. I'm talking about the Dick Vitale, because Gus Johnson does that too, has personality, but Dick Vitale, Bill Walton, who else is somebody that you would associate with putting the color in colorful, putting the
Clyde?
Clyde's a good one.
Yeah, that's the only. Yeah, and he's from like a bygone era. Like now, you don't really see those characters. He's a holdover from this Walton era.